Son of a bitch.
Groovy.
Hey everybody, this is Matt the Movies coming at you with the latest in my movie discussion series, and this time instead of talking about a trope or type of movie or an actor or director, I'm going to be comparing an original film to its remake. And this time around I'm going to be talking about the 1976 Carrie versus the 2013 Carrie, which I thought was an interesting one to start off with because I find that one is freaking awesome and the other one is definitely not. And you may be able to guess which one it is, and spoilers, it's gonna be the original that I like more. Shocked, I know, right? The original is so much better, and I think there's a major reason why that's the case, and I think it applies to almost every aspect of it. And I'm gonna be talking about various aspects of the film, but overall, just when it comes to the film, I think the reason why the 76 version is far superior is it feels real. The acting is better, the way it's shot is better, and it just feels like it's a real movie. The 2013 movie feels like it was shot by, you know, the best cameras out there, and the shots are all beautiful, and I'm sure there was many takes, and everybody has just got immaculately made up and wearing designer clothes, and everything feels like it has a sheen on it. Nothing feels real. Whereas in the 76 version, it feels like it's just an everyday high school. And yeah, there are some good looking people there, and there are some movie stars in it for sure, but none of them are so mind-bogglingly attractive that you're like taken out of the reality. And just really at the end of the day, you are able to really just care about these people and care about what's happening in front of you in the 76 version, because it feels like these are people that you could really relate to, and they're everyday folks instead of just being movie stars that are pretending to have issues. I really feel like the 2013 film really missed the boat in the directing and the casting. I think there are some talented actors in the remake for sure, but they did not necessarily fit their role. I really feel like they should have gone for either less attractive actors or unknown actors, so that you were able to really care about them a lot more. Because like I don't care what anybody says. Chloe Grace Moretz, she plays Carrie, and when you compare her to Sissy Spacek's version, you could really buy her as this complete outcast that everybody picks on, and has this miserable life at home and at school, and just feels like she can't get by in the world anymore. And then all of a sudden, when something comes to her, like that she's being picked out and that somebody actually likes her, that there would be this wonderful moment in her life that she feels like everything's gonna be turned around. And when it comes to Chloe Grace Moretz, she's not exactly the most gorgeous woman in the world or anything, but she's a very attractive person for sure. And it's impossible for me to buy that she would be the absolute outcast of her high school, or if she was, it would feel like it was a choice that she made in the friends that she had, or the way in which she dressed. Like Sissy Spacek, she seems like her character seems like somebody who just has no idea of how to get by in the world and how the social graces of society. She's desperate to care about people and have people care about her, but she just is not able to make those connections. And I just do not buy it at all with Chloe Grace Moretz's performance. It just does not work for me whatsoever. I do not think that she embodies the character in any way, shape, or form. And then you have the mother, and one of the things that I think is awesome is when you ask me who the mother is in the original movie, I can't tell you her name. I'm sure there are lots of people out there who can, and I mean I could look it up right now, obviously. And I think this applies to several of the biggest characters in this film, and still what I'm going to mention like directly here, but I could not tell you that actor's name. But she is just fan-freaking-tastic. She just the way that she plays this role of this woman who is devout and honestly believes that she is doing what's right for her daughter, but you as an audience member can see that she's just absolutely terrifying and horrifying her daughter and essentially torturing her. But she thinks that she's in the right, and she's is just absolutely there to make sure that her daughter doesn't make choices that are going to send her to hell. And it's such a fascinating character, because you grow to hate her, because you're like, please stop doing this to your daughter, but at the same time, you can't hate her too much because she's just horribly misguided. But at the end of the day, when she gets her comeuppance, you can kind of like really go for it because you're like, yes, Carrie, you're doing it, and there's all this emotional like up and down. Whereas in the 2013 movie, you have Julianne Moore, and do not get me wrong, she is an immensely talented actress who I've loved in so many different films, but because it's Julianne Moore, you don't see it as Carrie's mother. You just see it as Julianne Moore being Carrie's mother. And when she's doing all these things, she does a great job. She totally commits to the role. I think she definitely plays her heart out. She's doing her best, but it just doesn't. You don't buy it. I just don't buy it. And I like everything in the 2013 movie. It just feels like there's just a slight disconnect, or in some cases a pretty massive disconnect that just makes it so it does not work for me whatsoever. And that's an amazing feat when you are able to make it so that I can't buy a performance by Julianne Moore. There is something seriously wrong. I really, at the end of the day, feel like the director it should have been replaced, and the producers and the cinematographer, because the way that they shot this movie and the way that they cast it was such a failure. And another role, you have the basically the head of the girls that wants to pick on Carrie, originally played by Amy Irving, I should say, and played by an actress who I couldn't tell you her name in the remake. The difference there is just so perfect to encapsulate what I'm talking about. You look at Amy Irving, you can totally see her being the popular kid at school and everybody looking up to her or whatever, but she also feels like somebody you could actually find yourself in high school with. Whereas the girl in the 2013 movie feels like she's like a supermodel type. She's going to be growing up to be world famous because she's that like attractive, and it just, to me, totally takes me out of the world. And most of her underlings are equally attractive, or at least close, and it just maybe I don't know, maybe in California and or Hollywood there are schools that are filled with just ungodly beautiful people, but it's just not a world that you or I or most people would be able to say, oh yeah, when I was in high school there was a group of girls that were just mind-bogglingly attractive. I mean, maybe in high school you thought they were super hot, but in retrospect they're still absolutely beautiful, but they're not going to be like world famous for their looks, or at the very least not going to deserve to be world famous in their looks. But in this movie, everybody is ridiculously hot. When in the 2013, there's like almost not a single, like I wouldn't be surprised if the extras were like mind-bogglingly good, because it's just the sheen of this film is just everywhere. And you have Travolta's role where he's this guy who goes to Carrie and is like, yeah, I'm gonna take you to prom, and convinces her that he cares about her. The thing about Travolta in this film is that you believe for her. You know better. You know what's really going on, but you can understand why she believes him, why she gives in to him, and why she completely does not see what's about to happen coming, because he does a great job of really making her feel that, and making you feel that for her. It just works to perfection, so that when you have that betrayal at the end, you really feel it too, because you were almost able to buy into. Like there's almost a part of you when you're first watching this movie where you're like, oh, maybe there's an outside possibility that maybe he won't go through with it, and you know it's a horror film. You've seen but there's a part of you that just wants to believe it, but because he does such a good job of playing it. But in the remake, it's this guy who again is just this movie star, good looks kind of guy, and obviously Travolta would become a movie star, but I just don't think his looks are of such a high caliber that it's completely outside of the frame of reality that he would be going for the ugly duckling. And in the remake, it's just that guy, it just does not play the character in any kind of believable fashion. I do not for a moment understand why she gives in to his advances and thinks that he really means it, because it just does not feel real whatsoever. And of course, you could not talk about this movie without, I mean, obviously there have been spoilers throughout this, and this is going to be the big spoiler. If you haven't seen this movie, you the 76 version at least, you definitely need to go check it out. But the movie ends at prom, and again, spoilers, but there's the moment where they drop pig's blood on Carrie, and when you see it fall on Sissy Spacek, the look of abject horror on her face and the reaction when everybody's pointing at her, and just the guttural pain that you see on her face, and despair and betrayal, and just unfiltered rage coming through, and just inability to process for a moment what has just happened to her. And in this moment of just having the rug pulled completely out from underneath her, it is so heartbreaking to see. It's a difficult scene, and as somebody who loves this movie, even though I've seen it multiple times, I'm still, every time I watch it, I'm like, oh man, that is rough. And then I watched the 2013 version, and she's hamming it up. She's like, her reactions are so over the top. Her disbelief is not believable whatsoever. I like Chloe Grace Moretz in many movies, but her reaction to the blood fall was just, to me, complete garbage. And there's a part of me that doesn't want to blame her, because I feel like there wasn't really a stellar performance in the entire thing. So you want to say that it was probably the direction that led her to really not be able to invest in that moment. But man, I feel like she does, and it's even worse once you get to the unbridled rage. Like, she looks like she should have been in the star of like a Marilyn Manson music video instead of being the main character of a film, because, like, you know, she looks kind of creepy. There's like her movements are kind of cool, but it just does not have the same visual impact, because you don't feel like she gets there. Like, Sissy Spacek gives one hell of a performance in the original when she is using her telepathic abilities to take out the people at the prom. The look of just rage on her face, and also the emotionlessness at the same time, is just so pitch perfect. Like, it's so great, because you have this moment with the pig's blood where it's just there's so much you can see in her face, and then it's all of a sudden like a light switch goes off, and there's just nothing left, and she is just rage, and she's going to kill everybody, and it doesn't matter if that person was kind to her. She is just a killing machine at that point. And to see how that all plays out, like the level of destruction. And the other thing that really makes it stand out too is the fact that it was practical effects. Like, the way that you see these people being destroyed, you really feel that impact instead of it being like a CG fire or whatever. And I just, the 2013 version just does not in any way live up to the original in my view. So those are my thoughts. I mean, I could keep going into some of the other like key moments, like the mother's comeuppance and all that kind of stuff, but I feel like I've made the point why I feel like the original is vastly superior. So those are my thoughts. Let me know in the comment section below what you think, if you agree, if you liked the 2013 version, if you looked too hard on it, if you dislike the 76 version, whatever. Other than that, please hit that like button, hit that share button. It makes it much more likely that other people will discover this video is out there and come and take a look and check it out and let me know what they think. And speaking of which, if you are new here, you just haven't done it yet, please hit subscribe, hit that notification bell. I would love it if you stuck around and watched my subsequent videos and gave me your views on the things I have to say, because I love talking to people about movies, and I'd love you to be one of them. Other than that, have yourself a good day.